2 years ago, I brought you Plenty of Fish. And I found my fish on Plenty of Fish. And last year, Jack and I were going out, and he had some funny stories, and he sailed his sailboat into a yacht. Well, this year, we're not in the yachting business, and we're not finding people on Plenty of Fish. This is a new fish story. And I'll start. Strictly Catholic. Hide your body. Privacy is next to godliness. Now that is a belief that I was programmed with. It is a belief I left home with. It is a belief I held on to for 39 years. Then one day, I went to work and to have a vacation in Hutchinson Bay. I was coming from Alberta to spend the summer on a sailboat in Hutchinson Bay, do a little work, and just have fun. I met this wonderful woman, Allison, and she said to me one day, she said, "You want to go fishing in the fish quarry, swimming in the fish quarry?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Okay, tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, we'll load the bicycle up and we'll head on out." I said, "Okay." That morning, 6 o'clock, and it was the end of June, and it was an exceptionally warm morning. Beautiful. No wind, no breeze, and for Hutchinson Bay, that's different. Up the hill we drive, we load her bicycle into the back of the trunk of her old station wagon. Up the hill we drive along a country road. We come to a dead end. And at the dead end, we take the bicycle out, get her gear, put it on the bike, and she said, "Sit on the handlebars." I said, "Sit on the handlebars? When's the last time you sat on the handlebars, you guys?" I didn't build to sit in the handlebars. I get on the handlebars, I'm laughing so hard. She's pedaling like mad down this gravel road. We're giggling and almost falling over until we hit the quarry. Well, we get there, she lays the bike down. She strips off her clothes, folds them neatly on a rock, plops the towel on the clothes, walks to the edge of the cliff, and dives off. And her body just kind of hovered in the air. And as it lowered, the sun caught her skin, and she just dove into the ebony water below. Of course, I had never been there, and walked over the edge, and I looked over, and wow, it was steep, and it was jagged. And me, oh, I had my babysitter under my clothes. I had come prepared. I didn't plan on diving in nude. So, take my clothes off and walk to the edge and look again and think, I back up a little bit, take a run and jump, cannonball right off the cliff line. Oh my God. It was awesome. It was just such an incredible feeling. I'm doing a backstroke down the quarry, and there's a bald eagle circling up above. I turn and do the side stroke, and there's two seagulls just going along beside me. Now, you gotta remember, I come from Alberta, in Edmonton. I'm not used to bald eagles circling around like I am now, and I'm not used to seagulls floating along beside me. So you want to bet I believed I was just in heaven. And then I heard the whistle. That was our signal to head back. Gotta go back to work, right? And I look down, and the wind's picking up, the towel's blowing a bit. And there's a plane circling above. And Allison, her beautiful naked body crawling up the rock cliff, and I'm thinking, wow. And I get down there, and I look up, and there's no planes when I'm there, and I scramble up the rock cliff, and she's there lathering her body with body lotion, and I'm wrapping myself in a towel, trying to get my bathing suit on, and trying to get dried, and trying to put my clothes back on over damp skin, and I'm just like total opposite to the woman that's standing in front of me. And we pedal back to the car, and off we go. But before we do that, she said, "You want any body cream?" And I said, And I was thinking, now how am I going to drop my towel and put body cream on? This ain't going to happen, right? And before I could answer her, she said, I used to own a little log cabin in the center of BC, in the Kootenays. She said, the only time I ever put clothes on was to go into town. And I'm standing there thinking, oh, I envied that freedom at that moment. You know, not worrying about what sagged, or what was wrinkled, or what just didn't hang in the right places. And I don't know, men may not, feel that way, but I know I can't be the only woman in here thinking that. And I thought, I envy that relinquishing of anything that anybody might think about you. A few days later, we went back to the rock quarry. That day, I didn't have a bathing suit under my clothes. All I had was fear in the creases of my mind, I gotta tell you. I took my clothes off, and I plopped them on the rock, and I put the towel on top, and I walked over to the edge, and there were no planes up above. I made sure of that. And I put my arms above my head. I could feel the breeze tickle my armpits. And I dove into the water. Oh, now, I will never, ever, ever forget that day and that moment. The water was so cold. And it sent like an electric current along my skin. Goosebumps everywhere. It was like the water just rippled across my back. It caressed my spine, ran around my belly, down my inner thighs. It was an amazing feeling. And it tucks into places that you would never know water would run. Like with a bathing suit on, it doesn't kind of creep in under your breasts, and up the crack of your butt. And I don't know if you've ever skinny dipped, but it is an amazing feeling. Then, a plane circled overhead. I didn't like those planes circling overhead. And they're little planes, and they kind of come down over the quarry, And I rolled over. I was a little self-conscious. And I never, ever did that whole summer crawl up that rock cliff when there was a plane going overhead. I got to tell you that right now. Now, a lot of you kayak on long trips. I'm sure some of you have all gone skinny dipping, so I can't be the only one doing this. But it took me 39 years to go skinny dipping, but it took my mother 73 years. One day she phoned me and she said, I jumped off your dad's boat into the Kootenay Lake, and she said, I was naked. Now, if anybody knows my mother, she's a character. And she said, I just had to get naked, she said, before I died. I'm thinking, wow, 73 years versus 39, I'm doing pretty good here. At the end of August, we had been out to the quarry 2 or 3 times a week until the end of August. The water was still as delicious as it was the day I dove in for the first time without a bathing suit. And I still never crawled up that steep rock cliff with a plane going over. And the magic of the quarry is that it was so quiet. There were no planes, there were no ambulances or fire trucks or police driving down the street. There were no mothers calling kids. There were no dogs barking in a backyard. It was quiet, like you guys experience on your kayak trips, that stillness. The only sound you heard in the quarry while you were laying on the water was the batting of dragonfly wings and the nothing sound of a slug sliding across the stones. The last trip I was there, it was pretty Pretty wonderful. I was heading home in a week. We crawled out up the cliff. I was standing there with my foot up on a rock, like a ballerina with her foot on a bar. I was rubbing body lotion on my legs. And Allison leaned forward. She said, I have something to tell you. And I could see the concern in her face, you know. And I said, well, what is it? She said, 30 feet behind you, Laurie, is a man fishing. And that moment, that little moment, because we had always been there by ourselves, I had that little panic for a second. And then there was a calm. And it was probably the first time in my life that I really just accepted myself as I was. I continued slathering my body with body lotion, putting on my clothes, packing up my little bag. And as we went to leave, I turned around and I waved to the fisherman and I said, have a great day. And he turned around and said, and he had the grin of a Cheshire cat, I already have.